nothing else can play out.
Nothing
There's
else
no
can play
other way.
out.
There's just this one path. And that's the only path I need to be going on. And I think that changed my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not true.
Yeah.
There's not always one path. There's always multiple paths.
Whatever it is that you experience, which is maybe you experience a lack of love, which is unfortunate. Nobody should ever
go
through that. But then, really, should nobody go through that? Because then, what would you know what the highest purpose and the highest love and the highest acceptance is without sort of the opposite?
Exactly. And that's not understanding your full potential.
Yeah.
Is self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
I was able to take up space mentally because I started to understand my full potential of what I can do and who I am.
Wow. But how did who does that, right? Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Get your life, 2020. Get with it. What are you doing? What else are you gonna do except get your life? Kuukua Eshun is a Ghanaian-American creative who splits her time between Ohio and Accra. She's a multi-award-winning filmmaker who is inspired by emotions and femininity. Her film, Act of Love, recently won an award at the Worldwide Women's Films Festival for Best Visual Effects. As a woman who believes in changing the narrative and letting her voice be heard, she's very outspoken about her belief in gender equity. She recently collaborated with UNFPA Ghana to hold a healing session for young women who are survivors of sexual assault. Her writing has been published in the ECA Literary Magazine, Apple News, Ghana Web, and many more. As a co-founder of Box Kids, an organization that prioritizes and provided education to the youth of Jamestown, Ghana, Box Kids has caught the attention of public platforms like Skull World Forum, Embassy of the Netherlands, Suitcase Magazine, Natal, Ignan, etc. Her recent movement, called Skate Girl Club, is the first all-female skate crew in Ghana. As a co-founder of Skate Girl Club, her goal is to create a safe space for women in sports and on the continent, as we have seen on Vogue Magazine, Yahoo News, Vice, Konbini, and many others. Kuukua is a powerhouse who continues to tell stories that matters through her art and her work. Welcome her on my trusted couch. Hey guys, Nana Konamah here, and as always, I'm here to help you find your authentic self. Now, since you're already here, you go ahead and just click that subscribe button, and so you can see every episode of Get Your Life and every other episode of all my content when it drops. Today, I'm sitting on my couch with sister friend, sister person, Kuukua. Kuukua, welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. You are an amazing person, I just want to say, and I'm just so grateful to be sitting across from you to have this conversation. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I know. But I also want to say I'm a reflection of you.
Now, see, you can't be going around saying things like that.
I am. I'm a reflection of you.
So, award-winning filmmaker.
Yes.
Award-winning activist. Like, what don't you do?
A few things. I do a lot.
It's like, what I don't do is capitulate and, play small.
Yeah. That's exactly what I don't do, actually. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we're getting right into the deep conversation. Your latest film, which was an official selection at the Pre-End Film Festival, in addition to a couple more, I believe it's the West African Film Festival, touches on sort of love and how we experience it. It's a short film. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more of the process of making that?
Yeah. I am a very sensitive and a very emotional person. And I think because of that, it allows me to feel or understand love on a really deep level. So This Act of Love is actually a film dedicated to everybody that feels love from the core of who they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Because I see it as you in all who you are physically, through your work, mentally and emotionally. I consider you a space taker,
Yeah.
right? Like
Take
either
up a lot of space.
you take up space, whether it's showing up with blue hair,
Obviously.
right? Or creating documentary and film that touch on sort of subjects that are not really delved into.
Yeah.
So this conversation, I wanted us to really speak on what it means to take up space, how we do so, and like how do we walk ourselves through the idea that it is okay and space is available for us to take up.
Yeah.
So how would you define taking up space?
I think that taking up space is being your true, authentic self. I am very dominant, like you said, like showing up with blue hair, or like, you know, the way I walk, or the way I talk, or the way that I
Express
dress.
yourself,
Yeah,
right?
express myself.
And interact with others.
Sometimes I don't even think about taking up space. I'm not, you know, like I don't even have to think about it. It's just who I am. And some people take up more space than other people.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's like being your true, authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are more forthcoming, more open, more, you know, I guess accepting
Yeah.
the reality.
But for you, like you said, it's not so much the physical space, because I mean, you could take up physical space, which is a concept that is sort of like, I'm here, so I guess I am taking up space. But for you, you said it's about owning your mental space.
Yeah.
So tell me speak a little bit more on that,
Yeah.
and how that reflects in your work.
Yeah. I think for me, the way that I take up space on the mental level is through writing poetry. It allows me to dig deeper into who I truly am, why I feel the things that I feel, why do I like the things that I like, why do the things that upset me.
Right.
Like it allows me to, I'm like, so that's why I am this way. That's why this thing does not feel weird to you, but it feels weird to me.
What got you here? I want to understand, because I'll give you sort of like, for my own personal story, I haven't had much choice physically as far as space taking goes. You know, I'm 6 feet tall. I kind of have that physical sort of presence. But owning my mental space, or at least accepting that it was okay to expand and to reach and to think big and dream very big and imagine myself sort of being able to expand and show up and be visible, right? That required me to come into sort of a full acceptance of myself and sort of my calling. So for someone who's watching this and saying, I really want to do this one thing, but I don't know if I am smart enough or worthy enough, what's the conversation around that?
Honestly, my life changed when I understood that self-sabotage is real. Not understanding your full potential is self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
I was able to take up space mentally because I started to understand my full potential of what I can do and who I am.
Wow. But how did, who does that, right? Like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Like, how do you get that?
How do you even begin that journey of saying, okay? Because because for me, self-acceptance came from a place of desiring to heal from just the anxiety and depression of not loving myself. Being a space taker just came as a result of that. I didn't start out self-acceptance really saying, I need to take up space. I want to take up space. It was very much like, I'm tired of being sad.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of being depressed. So let me go ahead and just accept myself, girl. And then as a result, realize that, this is what space taking actually means, right? So like, to your point, sort of like, you came to a place of self-acceptance, yes, but like, what was that journey like for you?
I think that I have seen a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Right? I have been through a lot. I didn't even grow up with my parents. Like I just met my mom and I moved to the US. So for so long, I felt like I was alone on this empty, big battlefield, and I had to fight all these battles by myself.
By yourself.
And I think that throughout the process of that, it was like, ooh, okay, you've jumped so many battles
Hurdles, yeah.
on your own. How further can you get? How much further can you get? Like, I've overcome 100% of my bad days. How much further can I get? How much more can I overcome?
That is an incredibly powerful statement.
Yeah.
To say I fought basically every battle that has come my way.
Yeah.
And so what else is there to do?
Exactly, like battles that shattered me from the inside out.
Yeah.
Like, that I felt like, oh my gosh, I can't come out of this. And I did. I probably don't even remember how it felt. And I'm still here. How much more battles can I fight?
You're still here with that blue hair child, taking up more space. So I guess, like, would you say, if I was to characterize what you're saying, is that we go here, we go here, we go here, right? It's a constant leveling up. And then you get to a place where you're like, okay, I feel like I can grow in this direction.
I think so. I say that because the process, okay, the journey that I want to be really careful about how I say this.
Don't be careful, child. That's the point. The point is to not be careful.
Okay, so I used to think that whoever I am, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm going through, whatever that's coming my way, it's exactly what this is exactly where I'm supposed to be at. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. But I don't think I believe that anymore. I think that at every point in your life, you have the ability to say, okay, I don't think this is exactly where I need to be. I need to be further, or I need to take a step back.
I see what you mean. So you, at a certain point in your life, were in a space where you were sort of like accepting.
Yeah, I was like, this is exactly, like, this is how
it's out of my control. I can't put into action any kind of existence that's different from what I'm currently experiencing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like nothing else can play out.
Nothing else can play out.
There's just this one path. And that's the only path I need to be going on. And I think that changed my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not true.
Yeah.
There's not always one path. There's always multiple paths.
There's so many layers to this conversation.
I know, it's just like...
So many layers to this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think what I'm also learning about taking up space is recognize, okay, who and for what am I taking? There always has to be a purpose behind that space taken. For me, taking up space is just very, very important. Because growing up, I didn't really have anyone who really looked like me, either in Ghana or abroad, who I really felt like, oh, this person speaks my language, this person speaks my experience, this person understands someone like me. And so for me, space taken is really to just expand so that I touch so many people and I'm able to build a lot of people up, especially people who look like me. So how much of space taken really becomes about space giving?
Honestly, if you don't take up space, you could be sabotaging a whole community, a whole generation.
And
okay.
Yeah.
Your success, so many people's life are tied into your journey and your success. That if you don't decide to be the person that you're meant to be, it's not just your life, it's beyond that.
Yeah.
This is about so many other people that will come after you. So please take up that space.
Right.
So let's say women like Michelle Obama. She's one of my favorite people. I love Michelle Obama so much. Some of my favorite people. Look at my
bookshelf. I have like 6 copies.
Exactly. If Michelle Obama did not take up that space, and she's not who she was supposed to be, she's not the first lady, or I don't know, something happened along the journey.
Or be present and visible.
Yes. I would not be inspired by Michelle Obama. And so many other young girls, and you know, so many people's journeys are tied
to our visibility. You know what I mean? Like both our visibility, sitting on this couch, having this vulnerable conversation is a certain level of visibility that is so critical for people who both share an identity or maybe don't share our specific sort of identity as like American raised Ghanaian women, but they connect to our story at some level.
Exactly. So, space taken literally translates to space given.
That's
You
of
can
course
take it
is
out.
your space taken is connected to purpose.
Exactly, if it's connected to purpose.
Right.
Exactly. And one thing I love about space taken to me is that I have gotten to this point in my life that I understand that my passion and who I am will lead me to my purpose.
Yeah.
So then when you're taking up space, you're not like, oh yeah, I'm trying to be better than everybody else. Like I'm trying to be like, yeah, you need to see me. It's like, no, this is bigger than you just seeing me.
Yeah, I came to that same understanding not so long ago. When people always ask, well, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? How do I know that? It's more than passion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is passion. Yes, it is what you like to do. That's purpose 1.0. And for me, purpose 2.0 then becomes, what am I okay with giving?
Yeah.
What do I love to do? What am I passionate about? What does the world need me for? And what am I willing to give? I mean,
That's it.
Can I even say freely? Like, what am I comfortable with giving freely? You know what I mean? If I wasn't getting paid for this, would I still be doing this? That's a very important question to ask.
So actually so.
And you would know that, okay, is my purpose aligned with this? Because that alignment, can I be honest with you? Yeah. I believe deep down inside, or maybe not all that deep, we all know what we're supposed to be doing with our lives.
I think so too. I think that, like I said, self-sabotage, the biggest thing. No, it always comes.
Let's talk about
like,
it.
It always comes in play.
Yeah.
I always say to myself, okay, my mind does this thing where sometimes it likes to blame other people but myself. But to be honest, a lot of the things that I've been through is the choices I made. Yeah. And a lot of, is how I decided to spend my time or with whom. Like it always comes down to me, Kuukua, as a person.
Yeah.
Okay. So I understood that my biggest monster is myself, because I don't understand. If I don't understand my potential, then you can't even begin to want the process because you don't understand.
The biggest giant to slay is you. It's conquering yourself, conquering your own laziness, your own fears, your own doubts, your own lack of self-trust, your own lack of self-acceptance, your own lack of commitment and dedication. Yeah. And a lot of times, how much do we make that somebody else's responsibility? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had a moment where I had to come to terms with whatever I feel my parents made, because parental trauma is real. Parental trauma gets a lot of bad rap. I think we love to just throw it in the kitchen sink. We like to throw everything back into what my parents didn't do for me, did for me. It's yes.
I was that person.
I was that, but
for so long.
For so long.
Oh my gosh.
And not saying that parental trauma isn't real. What I am saying is that I did come to a place of understanding, whether my parents did this or didn't do that. I was the one perpetuating whatever nonsense that was playing itself out in my life.
And you had the power to decide.
To shift. Yeah.
How do I take this thing? I don't like it. I don't want it. How do I take it and make it something that I like and want? It's in your hands now. So it's like, it doesn't really matter, it matters a lot what the journey has been like, right? But it doesn't really matter when you're like, I didn't like this thing, but I'm going to take it. This thing I didn't like, I'm going to take it and make it better.
what do I do with it?
What do I do
So
with that?
like nobody like trauma sucks.
How do I get on the other side of it?
Trauma's trash, right? It's the ghetto. Nobody wants that, right? Nevertheless, it's ugly. It's not beautiful. It's part of healing. The important thing is to say I can't always control the terrible things that kind of happen to me, but you know what? I can decide what I do with it, and I can decide who I become on the other side of it.
You know, one thing that really helped me too as a person, understanding that the moon and the stars, they don't disappear when the sun comes up. But we need that darkness to see that light.
Yeah.
The beautiful moon and the stars, like it's there right now.
Not gone.
It's not gone, it's there right now. But we don't
light.
see it. We need that darkness to see the light.
Yeah.
And that was the most beautiful thing I ever read.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago. I don't know where it's from, but it just stuck with me. And
yeah. That is profound.
I'm just like, oh my goodness.
That is incredibly profound.
Like, how do you even know what light looks like if you've never seen darkness? How can you appreciate what light is? The depth, the core of what light is. How can you appreciate that if you've never experienced darkness?
It's like, we spend so much time sort of hating ourselves or hating the journey. Like, if only this hadn't happened to me, if only I hadn't done this. But it's like, whatever it is that you experience, which is maybe you experience a lack of love, which is unfortunate. Nobody should ever
go
through that. But then, really, should nobody go through that? Because then, what would you know what the highest purpose and the highest love and the highest acceptance is without sort of the opposite?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's very hard to reconcile. I had a hard time reconciling that things had to be hard or tough or terrible in order for me to understand what it meant.
I know it's scary to think that because it's like, am I glorifying pain?
Yeah.
It's like there's that part of me too. It's like, am I glorifying pain? But then it's just like, pain won't come. If whether you caused it, someone else caused it or not, it's just part of, because human experience is part of it. So, like you said, how do we take that and make it into something else and be on the other side of it?
What's your other side?
My other side? Whew, that's a big question. I don't think it's like one thing or like two things. So I think I'll come back to what I said. My other side is always understanding my potential. Yeah. That's my other side, honestly. Okay, this thing is happening. What is the possibility? Even if there's 1% possibility of this being better, I'm going towards that. That's my other side. Even if it's 0.1% of the story somehow flipping around.
That's a very scary place, though.
No, it's really scary.
I mean, anybody...
It's not comfortable.
No.
It's not smooth.
I don't think people understand that... maybe people do understand that healing can be painful. And maybe that's why a lot of us don't choose to sort of expand.
Yeah.
And, because to stretch... Just think of the concept of expansion and stretching. Yeah. It's painful.
It's really painful. Healing is ugly.
Healing is ugly. So taking up space might be a painful process, but it's critical because there are other people that need to see you because space taken is space given.
You might not see it, but it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Every single time we take up space, we end up giving space to other people too. That's just how it is. You took up space by saying, hey, I want to do this talk show in my apartment. Yeah. And now you're giving me space to talk to you about this.
Right. About
my pain, about, who I am, my love. Like, you took up space and now you're giving me space.
Yeah. Because that's
how it works.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, so much just came out of that. So much just came out of that because what I also want people to understand that there's literally enough to go around.
Mm-hmm. Everybody
Space is infinite.
I struggle with that. I think I was telling you a little bit about that backstage. Like I said, I'm really dominant and I'm really like, hey, everyone, I'm here. Like, all the time. And I think that sometimes people that are around me feel like they can't take up space because I'm taking up so much space.
Like you're sucking the air.
And it's
out
just
from
like
the room.
literally space. The way I think about space is it's limitless. Like there's no limit to space. It's infinite. Like space it goes on and on and on and on. Every single one of us can take up space. In our glory. Every single one can take up so much space in our glory, and it's fine.
So for someone because somebody might look at both of us and say, well, these are two women who are entrepreneurs, so on their own, it's easy to take up space because they don't work for nobody. Yeah. They have their own schedules. They can go to, like I saw like on your Instagram stories where you took a random like afternoon you were at the beach. Yeah. I was like, most people have to work, Kuukua. What do you do?
Like on a Monday.
On a Monday. So, somebody's looking and say, well, how do you take up space wherever you find yourself? So somebody might say, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't control my schedule, or I don't really know what my purpose is. But space taking is independent of that, right? Yeah, so exactly. How do we do that?
I think the way that I understand that I not like I need to take up space, but sometimes you feel like it's time. You don't need to. It's not like you need like a power thing, like, I need to take up space. But it's like, you feel it. It's like, it's time. Yeah. And that, I think, for me is, what is my desire right now? Yeah. What is on my heart right now? Yeah. What do I need to do? What do I need to say? How do I need to look to feel like I'm taking up space? Yeah.
Also, we can take up space in how we treat other people.
Exactly, and how we treat other people.
So I can choose to just go about my work in a lovingly and kind way, and that is space taken. Because remember, space taken is about space given. Yeah. So when I'm able to smile in someone's direction or extend positivity to someone's day, and that helps them sort of navigate whatever their lives may look like in that moment. That in itself.
And that's the beautiful thing about space taken, because the spectrum of space taken is so wide. It's really broad. It could be something really small, like you said, like just opening a door for someone. Yeah. And it could be something really big, like, okay, I got this degree and now I became this lawyer and now I can fight for other people. To give space. So it's like, it's a wide spectrum.
So I'm going to take a moment to just give our friends a friendly reminder. If you've watched this much and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Because at this point, you stuck around long enough to know that you like the content. So go ahead and click subscribe. Also head to nanakonamah.com where all the fun goes down to leave your comments and to check out everything else, including recipes and other lifestyle materials that can help you find your authentic self and build a curated life from the inside out. Now, let's go back to our conversation as we finish up. I'm gonna let you finish. So, I mean, to your point, I want people to understand that no matter where you find yourself in the spectrum of sort of quote unquote importance, because Ghana, we like importance.
Oh. We like to put things on a scale, like in measuring things out. Yeah. That goes there, you go there,
We live in a world social status really, really, and it can get very exhausting. And it's about creating spaces. For me, what my definition of taking up space is creating space where we can be vulnerable and connect and heal, Yeah. But in the world where there is sometimes the pressure to sort of conform or to move in a certain direction. And there are people who are saying, well, I want to express myself and differently express it, but I don't know. The first thing I will say, I give the question, I'm going to answer it, but the first thing I will say is, like you said, you have to get to a place of irreversible self-acceptance.
Yeah. That's it.
Unapologetic. Don't give a F level of self-acceptance.
Literally.
Walk in the streets, wear blue hair because you can. Acceptance.
Exactly.
Start a show from my comfort of my own home level of I'm just gonna do it. Do you know what I mean?
Think about that right now. Taking up space is not hard. It doesn't take too much out of you.
For you.
Maybe for me. Yeah.
Maybe but like
I think as you practice taking up space, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, this is
the more space
this is normal.
the more you do it, the more you are aware of what you can do and expand into, and that's what I'm learning. But I feel like there's still a lot of pressure on like women and girls, especially in our community, to speak a certain language, to walk a certain walk, talk a certain talk. I see that we're breaking from a lot of those molds, but I always get a little concerned for our younger sisters and sort of what their experience around. What are they even being told they're allowed to feel or receive or give? You know what I mean? Is the language different these days?
Yeah.
Is the language better than maybe what I may have had?
I think that I would say it's better. I say that because I don't think that when my mom was my age, she could even express herself the way I am expressing myself right now. I don't even think she was allowed to do the things that I'm able to do right now.
So judging by that trajectory, it must be better.
I think,
we hope.
We really hope. I really hope so. But I also wanted to bring us back to, you said something that reminded me of the fact that when I moved to Ghana, I understood that, whoa, I am really privileged. That was really hard for me because in America, I'm minority and I'm Black and I mean, nobody.
So much comes with that.
I know. And then I moved to Ghana and it's like, you're from America. Like, you've done that. Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm the privileged one.
You're the privileged one,
over here. And then, so that being the privileged one, I think that to me automatically came with taking up so much space.
Oh. It was available to you.
Yeah.
What about people who don't see themselves as privileged? What does space taken look like in that sense? Right? Yeah. Because we've already established something which I think is very strong, is space taken is space given. Yeah. Whether I do it through my platform or through your films. Right? Yeah. You're given space to, I mean, these are the actors you use are these lesser known artists.
The stories that so many people can relate to.
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately it pulls us back to when someone says, how can I take up space? Yeah. What is that thing that you want to do so badly that you're so scared of? Yeah. That's how you can take up space, by starting to be who you truly want to be from the inside out.
I'm going to DM Michelle Obama. Yeah. And we're going to become besties. Mark my words.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, take up space.
Make the phone call.
Make the phone call.
Like, I sent so many emails. I applied to so many things. What? Do it. What is the worst that can come out of it?
Send the email. Write that message. Make that phone call.
You talked about how, you won this award, Cooks, for your film. If I did not shoot my film, apply to those film festivals, someone else would have won. I'm not special because I won it, because I did the work.
Right. Wow.
Someone else would have won it.
Absolutely.
I mean, the award is out there for someone to
win.
So
why not you?
Exactly. If I didn't do it, someone else would have done it.
Why not me?
Then what?
When I came to that realization, because I found myself to be in a place of, I had a lot of anger towards some of the ways that the world exists in. And one of the things that really filled me with almost like rage was just the fact that if you Googled wellness or health and beauty right now, the women who show up are almost all skinny blonde women. They're all the sort of the Gwyneth Paltrows of the world and the Heidi Klums of the world. And look, I'm here for the Heidi Klums and the Gwyneth Paltrows being able to, like, the women who look like them, being able to touch their own communities.
But can we all coexist?
But see, and that's made me so angry that it just always felt like that representation was not there. So then I sat down, I said, okay, I have an option. I can either sit around and be mad and bitch and moan about it, which is fine, bitch and moan, right? But after I bitch and moan, like you just said in this conversation, it's what you do with that moment of anger, that energy. What am I going to do with this energy? And in that moment, I set my intention and I said, I'm going to take up as much space as possible so that when you Google wellness, beauty, health, even if my face doesn't show up, people like me show up. We can
all coexist.
People like me show up. Are people who connect with my stuff. People like me show up. People have hair like mine, skin like mine. Experience, lips, nose like mine, big eyes like mine.
That's how
you know. And that is my sort of. I looked and I said, okay, you know what? All this energy, Emmeline was here and she was talking about visualization, and she said she would take, whenever she would feel so angry and that negative energy, she would take that negative energy into a visualization of what a better future. And I was like, all this energy and rage and wrath, I center this, I pull this in, and I completely sort of redirect that energy towards being as visible as possible.
Energy cannot be destroyed.
It can only be transformed.
So how do you transform that? To something else?
To something else.
Okay.
Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's transformed.
Exactly. So when you're angry, you can't destroy that. So how do you?
It either lodges in you as latent anger that shows up in some other crazy in your life, or we can metabolize energy
into something else. Something better.
Something better.
That makes you feel good.
That makes you and the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I realized that it was up to me, whether I take space or not, that's me. It's all me.
Yeah.
It's all me. I'm not alone. But it's on me, you know what I mean?
I used to be scared about being upset. That I used to be scared, like I can't say that I'm upset about this. Yeah. I'm scared that people might think I'm upset. Yeah. Or like I used to be scared to say things, like verbalize the fact that I'm upset. Yeah. I used to be scared to say, I'm gonna win an Oscar one day. That was the most scariest thing to me. For so long, I would stand in my mirror and I would say it, but I couldn't say it out loud because I was scared. I still struggle. I can't. People can't know that I think I'm gonna win an Oscar one day.
People can't know that you. For instance, I'm building a health and beauty empire, and for a very long time, that was so hard for me to use the word empire.
It sounds so big, and it sounds like
it's too big.
It sounds big.
You know.
Who said you can't?
Right.
Who said you can't?
That's part of the metaphysical space taken, is that pronouncement. Yeah. And to be able to say that like on camera, to use the word empire, to say like, I'm going to create companies worth billions. Like saying that for me, like out loud on camera, just in this moment is like.
Yeah, a long way from that little girl.
Right. Should I feel is it not humble? Is it not like what, you know what I mean? There's so much we work against.
Like, am I too much?
Am I too much? Am I taking up too much space? And
am I being too ambitious? Am I being too?
Space is infinite. Space is infinite. And we have to do it.
But one thing I love about space is that it's also ever changing. The way you take up space is ever evolving, ever changing.
It's
and
immutable.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So right now, the way that I feel that I could take up space is to love. I actually believe that my purpose in life is to love. Yeah. Whether it be through my work or me. I believe that.
Absolutely.
I struggle sometimes.
I believe that's everybody's highest purpose.
Yeah.
Is to love.
Yeah.
And love more.
Yeah.
Than ever.
That's the only thing that matters.
It's really the only thing that
matters.
matters.
I struggle with that a lot because as soon as something bad happens and people don't see me the way I see myself, I'm like, oh, that's not my purpose. I don't think so. Something that's my purpose cannot cause me pain or anger or so much discomfort. What? Your purpose. It's not supposed to be beautiful or smooth.
But there's a point where even the rough patches are bliss.
Yeah.
And I think that's the growth.
Yeah.
That's part of the growth to understand that all of this is part of
a bigger picture. Yeah. A bigger picture.
Most of the things we go through are like mental melodrama.
No, it really is. And in our minds, it looks way bigger than it really is in reality most of the times. Everything is worse in your mind because you could create things, right? You could create like 1,000 different scenarios in your head, but not in real life. Yeah. Like that power, that makes me understand how powerful I am because of my mind. Because I could think things that makes me feel things. That's scary.
If I can think things that make me feel things, and not only does I think things that make me feel things, that make me act out things, and that makes me create things. Think about that. Think about the creative ability of the mind and where it takes you.
You think
so,
it,
yeah.
and then you feel it, and then you act upon it.
Woo. I hope you got that. Let me stop.
Oh my goodness, that's really scary.
So I wanted us to, in wrapping up our conversation, this is really good. And my fear is that we're just going to sit on this couch and keep talking. And the crew's going to be like, we need to go home. And we're going to be like, yeah, we're just going to keep shooting for like 5 hours, But thank you so much. I think this moment is groundbreaking. Yeah, what we both represent and what we are representing together on this couch.
That's beautiful.
Mind-blowing. Yeah. It's never been done before, but it's being done right now. Yeah.
We're taking up space.
Taking up all that
and
space.
And we're coexisting.
Coexisting.
While we're taking up space.
And coexisting. So, gems. So, my favorite takeaways from this conversation is one, that space taken is essentially space given. And two, we can both take up space and coexist in our spaces, our respective spaces. Right now, it's like a Venn diagram, right? We are connecting in that overlap of what we both bring to the table. So I want to ask you if there was like one major piece of wisdom that you could leave, like one nugget, you wanted to drop one last nugget of wisdom to anybody watching this, especially younger Kuukua, younger Nana Konamah, what would you say?
Please, I've said this and I'm going to say it a million times. Please understand, respect, love, learn your potential of who you're meant to be. It starts with that. It starts with that. Understand, learn, love the potential of who you're meant to be.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Give me a hug. You killed it. We love it. Yeah, we love to see it. We love to see it. Thank you for joining us for our 6th episode of Get Your Life 2020 with my very good friend, Kuukua Eshun. Now, I hope this conversation has inspired you to go ahead and take up space, move, expand, build it up. Please do. We need you to, and the world needs you for it. I'm Nana Konamah, and as always, I'm here to help you find your authentic self. Don't forget to comment, leave a comment behind, and don't forget to share this conversation. If it has blessed you, go ahead and share it with others and share the blessing. Until next time, did we say peace? Deuces? Until next time, thank you.
Yay.